Hello all, welcome to the next video of cell structure and function. In the previous video, we had understood that cells are the basic structural and fundamental unit of every living being. And all the multicellular organisms start its life from a single cell. Robert Hooke in the year 1665 discovered cell by observing the cells of a cork through a simple microscope. Later, so many studies were done on cells, and we now know a lot about cells now. Even though cells differ in their shape and size and even in function, they are similar in their structure. So, in this video, let's learn about the different parts of a cell. In order to identify the different parts of a cell, we are going to do an activity with the help of onion peel and the scrapings from the inner side of the human cheek, which will give you the human cheek cell. For this activity, we need the following things: a microscope, forceps, slides, cover slips, dropper, gloves, different staining pigments like methylene blue and safranin, and of course, the main thing, onions and human cheek scrapings. Now, how to take the onion peel? Take a layer of onion and very gently from the inner part of the onion, separate a thin peel gently with the help of the forceps. Now when you take off the peel, it will look like a translucent sheet. Keep the onion peel on the slide and cover it with cover slip after adding a few drops of water and the stain. What you see now are the cells that were present in the onion peel. In order to take the human cheek cell, gently scrape the inside of the cheek with the broad end of the toothpick, add 1 or 2 drops of methylene blue stain and cover it with cover slip. Similarly, keep this under the microscope. This is how the human cheek cell looks like when it is viewed through a compound microscope. After observing the onion cell and human cheek cell, we can come to a conclusion that plant cell or animal cell or any cell usually consists of 3 main parts. Every cell has a boundary, and that boundary is known as the cell membrane. Inside the cell, there are spherical dense material present usually at the center of the cell, which is known as the nucleus. And all cell contains some fluid substance which is called as the cytoplasm. So basically a cell has 3 parts: cell membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. The nucleus and the cytoplasm are present within the cell membrane of every cell. Now let's look each part in detail and understand its role and importance in a cell. The first part we are going to discuss is the cell membrane. As I said, cell membrane is the boundary of the cell which separates one cell from the next one. Cell membrane is also known as plasma membrane. It is porous and semi-permeable. That means it allows movement of substances and materials both inwards and outwards the cell. We had already discussed about the role of a cell membrane when we learnt the shape and size of the cell. Cell membrane gives the shape and size to the cell. In plants, apart from cell membrane, additionally they have a cell wall also which covers the cell membrane. The cell wall is made up of cellulose. The main function of cell wall is to provide a rigidity and shape to the plant cells. The plant cells get protected from the temperature and other variations happening in the atmosphere due to the cell wall. Cell wall also prevent water loss from the cell. But it is to be noted that cell wall is not present in an animal cell. Animal cells only have cell membrane. The next part of the cell is the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the fluid substance present inside the cell. It's a jelly-like substance and it is present between the cell membrane and the nucleus. The other organelles of the cell is present in the cytoplasm. Organelles are the subcellular parts of a cell which performs specific function. Just like we have organs inside our body, there are organelles present inside the cell. Some examples of the organelles are mitochondria, ribosomes, vacuole, Golgi apparatus, etc. Each of these organelles have separate function. The next important part of a cell is the nucleus. Nucleus is similar to the brain in our body. Nucleus is a dense spherical structure present in the center of the cell. It has a control over all the activities of the cell and hence it is known as the control center of the cell. The nucleus has a membrane or a covering over it known as the nuclear membrane which separates it from the cytoplasm of the cell. Similar to the cell membrane, nuclear membrane is also semi-permeable and it allows movement of materials between the cytoplasm and the inside of the nucleus. There are some subparticles present inside the nucleus also. The nucleolus is a spherical structure present inside the nucleus. Chromosomes are the thread-like structures seen inside the nucleus which are the carriers of gene. Chromosomes help in transferring the genetic information of the parent to the offspring from one generation to the other generation. Chromosomes are visible when the cell division takes place. So we can say that nucleus is the storehouse of genes. The entire content of the living cell is known as protoplasm. That is, the nucleus and cytoplasm together is called as the protoplasm, which controls all the metabolic activities of the cell. In short, protoplasm is the living substance of the cell. Some of the other organelles present inside the cell are vacuoles and plastid. Vacuoles are transparent membrane-bound organelles present in the cytoplasm of the cell. Vacuoles usually contain substances dissolved in water or the waste materials generated by the cell. Plant cells usually have bigger vacuoles, whereas animal cells have smaller vacuoles. Plastids are small colored organelles present in the cytoplasm of the cell. Plastids are pigmented cells and they are usually seen in plants. Plastids containing green pigment, that is chlorophyll, is known as chloroplast. Hope you are now clear with the different parts of a cell. A cell basically contains three main parts: cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus, and other smaller organelles which are present in the cytoplasm includes vacuole, plastids, mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, etc. You will learn more about these organelles in your higher classes. Hope the content is very clear to you. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe the channel for more contents of Science 8, 9, 10.